Hey, what it do? What it do? You already know what time it is. It's supposed to have started at 7:30 p.m. Central Standard Time, but you know how we do. I won't say we're on color people time, but I get there when I get there. How y'all doing tonight, man? It's winter time damn near, but it's my favorite season. It's autumn. I talk about this all the time. I love autumn. Like it be cold, Kev. I don't want to hear it. So welcome to the show, man. How y'all doing? It's Outlaw Radio live from the basement. I am the host of Outlaw Radio, the architect of the People's Network, the People's News Network, our Facebook group, our sister Facebook group. I know people be like, what is this People's News Network? And you see it popping up. That's our group. Anything that's pertinent to Black people, anything that's important or relevant to Black people, that's the People's News Network, and that's Outlaw Radio. So I have to start the show by saying this. People always ask me, because in these days and times, everybody has a podcast. Everybody has a platform. People say, "Kay, you got a podcast?" Yeah, man. Oh, what's it called? It's called Outlaw Radio. What's this? What's it about? It's about Black people. What y'all be talking about? Black people stuff. That's what we be talking about on Outlaw Radio, man. Y'all better get in where y'all fit in. I'm telling y'all, this is gonna be a phenomenal show right here. This is gonna be pivotal just because of the level of Black male masculine unity. Like no cooning, no shoeing, no timing. I'm juiced up. You can tell. My name is Kevin Barnes. Let me say that again. The Negro Whisperer, certified professional life coach, Negro Whisperer. Yes, I am. Holler at me if you want to get the britches together, man. Let's get it. Look, y'all can tell my panel runneth over. I'm not alone. So let me just start off the way I always start off. I got my partner, my co-conspirator, my brother from another mother. We don't always get along. Sometimes we go to fighting on the screen. I want y'all to know it's still love, though. If you see me and Kamar arguing, don't be all like, oh, they finna break up. No, they ain't. We'll be right back at it. Witch Doctor, what it do, man? How you doing tonight?
Peace, family. I am at peace, and life is what's up. How y'all doing out there? Welcome to Outlaw Radio, where we talk that talk and we definitely walk that walk. Raising vibrations and elevating thought. Y'all better come on in. I'm trying to tell you, I am the Black woman lover, the Black man's brother, the culture teacher, hood healer, the ghetto witch doctor. Hey, mama, there go the CMOS, man! Y'all better come on in. If you ain't been to the House of Vitality, you better get there. Right now is the time to build the immune system, family. Come on up there and get your elderberry tea and elderberry shirt. Let's get it.
You ain't tell them where. You said come up there, but you ain't tell them where, though.
House of Vitality. Come House of Vitality. It's at the Sherman Phoenix, 3536 West Fond du Lac, family. Hey, listen. If you don't catch me on Facebook, you don't catch me there, just call me, 414-949-2122.
And Kamar, you got to remind me, I can put your number, I can add it to the scroll. Now, I'm getting a little feedback from somebody, so I hope everybody got their device turned all the way down, because you can't listen to it and be on it at the same time. You got to go back and watch it over. All right, so, but I got to keep going. I got my other brother here, Fonzarelli, in the building. What's happening with you, man?
Hey, man, just happy to be here. See another week, trying to figure out what I could do in this week to where I ain't got to go and punch in next week.
God damn. What a concept. Freedom.
Yo, I'm chasing it, man.
Now, the man of the hour, man, our guest. My chat room is popping. So before I even do this, because I know y'all going to want to talk to this brother, there's a phone number attached to our show. This is one of the things that makes Outlaw Radio just a little bit better than your average platform in the hood. We got a phone number. You can call live, real time, pop your shit. I don't screen my calls. I will hang up on your ass if you get disrespectful. That number is 262-202-5131. I'm saying it slowly, and it's scrolling across the bottom of the screen. 262-202-5131. My chat room pops all the time. We got the hardest chat room. I don't care what podcast you watch from the city. You cannot deny the Outlaw family represents in the chat room. Case in point, check this out. Because another thing we do up here is we make this interactive. So I put your comments up. Look, here go Dion. Everybody know Dion the Outlaw. He said, hello, everyone. He on his good people right now. Wait till the show get to going. Erica, how you doing, my sister? She said, hey there, Outlaws. She said, hey, She said your name backwards. It's Ajamu Butler.
Well, that's how it is on
I said
Facebook.
it. Okay. I said Ajamu. You said, no, brother. It's Ajamu. I said, oh, my bad.
I appreciate you, family. Yeah.
Yeah. So Dion says, bring the smoke. He said, bring the motherfucking smoke. Said, please, Kev, unbutton that shirt, bro. Look, this is an Outlaw Radio hoodie. Ain't no button. This is made by my wife. This is, and if you want one, inbox me. It's hoodie season.
That's right. That's right. Yeah. That's right. Tell him you got his size.
Yeah,
you got his size.
Come on, man. If y'all want one, I ain't selfish. It's gonna cost you a little bit something. You understand what I'm saying? He said, Real, you and Rob just asking. He said, are you in a robe? Just asking. Real always in his smoking jacket. Ewok from Arizona out there representing the 414. How you doing, my brother? He's in the chat room. He said, walks in the world. My brother Shane Krumer from Denver, Colorado. Out there, he said, peace outlaws from the mile high income and illegal migrant flooded city, frontline black news, Shabaka's black experience enhanced, and the revolutionary agenda. I recently seen Kamar featured in an article. Kamar's a fucking celebrity. I mean, Kamar, listen, he all over the place like bird shit. Of course you seen him. You seen an article about the witch doctor. You already know. Sharon Evans, how you doing, my sister? She said, what's going on, outlaws? Dion said, could we just not use what he said, not use it on the air, Kamar? Could we not use it on the air? What is he talking about? What is Dion talking about?
You know what he's talking about.
You talking about me rolling up?
Oh, okay. Man, listen, stop that.
Too bad, Dion. Too bad, Dion. It ain't gonna happen, man. It's been going on.
Stop it.
Going on way too long now, man.
Stop it. Come on, man. We don't subscribe to no Harry J. Anslinger war on drug, gay, or Hoover type mentality on this show.
What shit is that?
Smoke it if you got it. Now listen, this is one of my favorite guests over the years. He's been rocking with us for a minute. He's been on so many times. Like I was telling him before the show, man, you're a guest, but you're not a guest. You're an outlaw. So I'm gonna give you the stage. I've been running this shit out of my mouth is what I do. Tell these people who you are and what you do and all that good stuff.
Man, what's going on? What's going on, Outlaw family? My name is Ajamu Butler. I am the founder of Heal the Hood Milwaukee. You see my little you dig up there. Yeah. I'm the founder of Heal the Hood Milwaukee. We're a nonprofit based in Milwaukee. Been up and running for going on 13 years now, and we are excited for this work. We love this work. We do it with a passion. The children that they throw away and they say that there is no hope inside of them, we breathe life into them babies and we put hope inside of them. I love the work that we do when it comes to literacy development. I love the work that we do when it comes to violence interruption, and we do a lot of preventative work too, because it's easy to do interruption work on the back end when the gun already drawn and the gun already shot and so on and so forth. But how do we get these young brothers and sisters to think their way through pressures of life? So we do a lot of work on the preventative tip, man. I'm a father. I'm a child of God. I'm a man of faith. And I'm just a man of the people. I'm a servant. I'm a servant leader, man. And I'm all about growing that brain capacity so that we could all become change agents in this world, man.
And I want to welcome you back again, because you've been on many times, and I always appreciate when you reach out to little old me and be like, yo, I gotta come on Outlaw Radio. I'm ready to do some podcasting. So I just really appreciate, because a lot of people, let's be honest, in the 414, a lot of y'all, and shout out to the sneak listeners, y'all try to act like the Outlaw Radio ain't a thing, right? So I always know the real, because they'll inbox me and say, yo, Kev, I'm ready to come on. So I appreciate that. That's love. Welcome to the show, my brother. Kick your feet off, man. Relax. Because we're gonna get into some real deep black people stuff tonight from a black male perspective. That's what's gonna make this dope. And the juice lady will probably chime in. Courtney, she'll probably chime in, but she already know what's popping. She know how we get down. She know it's the locker room. Milltown Mikey Davis, what up, boy? Neighborhood. I tell y'all, man, one of the fellas, he said, much love, my outlaw brothers. Yes, sir. Listen, before I go any forward at all, because I always like to start Monday shows off just as kind of like catching up with my brothers, because we haven't spoken since last Wednesday. I want to dedicate this show to the memory of my cousin, Stephen Pfeiffer, aka Big Dog. We had his memorial service Saturday. He was murdered by the police in New Orleans in a standoff, and it's crazy. You never think that it would happen, but one thing I realized, I'm sitting in this church, right? And I'm seeing the cats that's coming in to pay to pay him respect that may not even know that that's my older cousin, right? But these is real street dudes. These is dudes that's official. These is dudes that's factors. And I'm sitting there with my wife, and cats is coming up, showing up, what up, Kev? What up, Kev? What up, Kev? And I'm saying, man, my family is a piece of work, man. Like, for real. Our roots is real solid. And we all that was the conversation of the day, is how solid our roots are, man. And so I just want to say rest in peace, because, man, he was older than me. He's one like your OG cousin, but he was always smooth. And especially once I got grown, he see me, what up, cuz? Well, he'll say, what up, little cuz? But you ain't little cuz no more. Now you big cuz. You bigger than me, right? He like 5'6". I'm like 6'2". He like, man, I remember you. Yeah. So rest in peace, man. Stephen Pfeiffer, man, my brother. Shout out to the Pfeiffer family. Prayers to the Barnes family. I'm double kin to the Pfeiffers, right? So it's all in the game. And Mallet, Zollicoffer, all that, man. I just had to say that. Rest in peace to my cousin, man. So now let's get into it, my brother. Heal the Hood. I'm happy you're here. Let's talk about Heal the Hood. Let's talk about Heal the Hood. Let's talk about Heal the Hood.
Yes, man.
What's behind that? Where you come from with that? Where you come from with this concept?
I ain't gonna lie, man. Heal the Hood was it wasn't even an idea to do this big national, international thing. It wasn't no idea to be teaching and preaching in the high schools with the kids all around the world. It wasn't never when we first talked about, oh, let's do a block party and call it Heal the Hood. That's what you call the faith of a mustard seed that's moving mountains years later. Because when we first started Heal the Hood, I always talk about them humble beginnings, man. I used to be on the bus and shit, going to speaking engagement, promoting this thing and radio interviews, and my shoes at the time I would get from Goodwill. You understand what I'm saying? Busted. I got on a suit jacket from Goodwill, one sleeve. You understand me? Longer than the other one, man. But I had a mission inside of me, man. So Heal the Hood is that movement that says you can tap into your very own lifestyle and make your life better, and you can make the next neighbor house better, and you can make your block better, and then we can make the world better, man.
Okay. And shout out to John Fletcher. Once again, I told y'all this chat room cracks, man. John Fletcher said, what up, Outlaw family? Prayers for you and the family, man. It's all good, man. You know, it's the natural cycle of things. Jasmine Tyler, how you, my sister? She said, yo, peace, family. Look, me and Jasmine, I've been trying to get Jazz on the show. I'm coming, and I'll be there. Then it's like something else pop up, or I say, oh, she ain't coming this week. We gotta get Jazz back on, man. Another Outlaw.
That's fan, man. That's fan.
Yeah, man. So look, Kamara, I have to ask you, because I was able to elaborate on how was your weekend? How was your weekend?
My weekend was good, man. It was good. It was, it was relaxing. It was dope. It was all that good shit, man. You know what I'm saying? Sunday was dope. I ain't really had to do too much. You know, Sundays and more Mondays are really the days I work. But yesterday we didn't do too much. Got a chance to watch the Packer game. You know, the Packers got it in.
Yes, sir.
Jordan Love threw for about 4 big ones. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You know, the Packer haters on Facebook was quiet today. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Really, I'm just over here talking shit, right?
It's all good, man. That's what we do, man. It's what we tend to do. Real, you tap back in, man. I'm glad you tapped back in. I wanted, because I'm just, how was your weekend?
Oh, it was cool, man. Got some rest in. Had to go get my little girl a coat. It's starting to get a little colder. To find myself waking up early to hit that heat before they wake up, so it could be a little warmer in the house. So tis the season. You know what I'm saying?
You know what I love? Every time I ask Rail about his weekend, he always mentions something about his kids. Like, me and Kamari, we did this. Rail be like, well, I had to go get some jogging pants and some socks for my babies, and one of them had a runny nose. I'd be like, this brother is. Who said black fathers don't exist, man? Y'all better stop playing with me, man. Right here. But yeah, man. I'm back in mode with my RC stuff. So just my solitary time, just doing my RC stuff, man. I'm building drag racers, all this kind of stuff. I'm on that. That's where I wanted to be at. So I had a great weekend too. I'm an empty nester, so I spend a lot of time with my wife, so we reacquainting ourselves with each other. You know what I'm saying? I just say, baby, what's your name? Type shit. You know what I'm saying?
That's right. That's right. That's right.
Real
That's
life.
right.
Hey,
Yeah.
real life.
Right.
That's right.
All the years done passed.
Yeah, 23. It'll be 2023. It'll be 23, October 27th. But listen,
Do it all over again.
I find myself simping now, and I ain't really tripping on it, right? Like,
Wait,
because
you saying 23 years of marriage? What
Yes,
you saying?
sir.
23 what?
23 years of marriage. Yes. Two adult children, 118, 121. Right? Like, I'm old. I just look like this. I'm old, right? You know what I mean?
In college.
Well, just but that's 23 is the marriage. 30 is how long from the time I met her to So it's like I said, man. I do a lot of simping. I be trying to say something poetic and smooth, and oh, baby, you're so fine to me, you're so beautiful. So I had a simpish weekend, but I enjoyed it. You know what I'm saying? I enjoyed it. I wouldn't have never said that to 18-year-old Kev, because he'd be like, man, if you don't get your ass out of here, I bet I never see you doing that. Hey, man, listen, it's growth, man. It's maturation. Now, my brother, you relocated from the city. So where are you at now? Let's talk about where you at now.
I am in Gastonia, North Carolina. Down in North Carolina, man. I moved down here August 5th. And it's been a journey, so to speak, man. It's been a journey to say the least, man. I kind of crept out the city more quiet than not. I had a going away party and, talked about it on social media, but a lot of people was taken by surprise. Like, I'm like, listen, this whole motherfucking globe is my home. Listen, just because I'm born here don't mean I'm going to stay here. And I think what people initially thought of was what's going to happen with the movement, what's going to happen with the work we do with Heal the Hood block parties and all that good jazz. And we still doing that work. I've been back to Milwaukee. Shit, I moved here at the top of August. I came twice in August, once in September. I'm coming back in a couple weeks. I got to come back at the end of November. I got to come back at the top of December. So when I say Milwaukee and Wisconsin in general will still be my battlefield, but I'm learning to operate, the battlefield from a distance too. It's about chess. Yeah, My whole family moved out here. It's 9 of us that moved out here. I got 9 family members that relocated from Milwaukee.
Oh, okay.
And we came down here.
Well, and see, one thing is a lot of us don't understand that it's really a notch in your belt to be born and raised in this city. People don't understand. We have a black epicenter here that a lot of northern Midwestern cities don't have. You can come to Milwaukee. You want some soul food. You want some barbecue. You want to know the spots. You want to know where it's real black. It's here. Go to other large cities. You be looking like through a microscope, like where the black people at? You know what I'm saying? So if you, especially during the time I grew up in Milwaukee, it's really like I've carried it on my shoulder, no matter where I've gone. Like, and whenever I've been somewhere else, the people who were there could tell I wasn't from there. They said, man, you ain't from, where you from, cuz? And if I say Milwaukee, they'd be like, Milwaukee? It's black people in Milwaukee. I'm like, oh, if you only knew. Come on with me. I'll take you home with me. So I'm glad you're saying, like, yeah, I left, but I'm still rooted. I'm still there. I still recognize I'm 414 all day, right? Like, but
all day.
Yeah, so a lot of dudes don't do that. I mean, I live in Florida now. Fuck Milwaukee until it be a hurricane, then he be back up here staying with his
going
baby mama.
Else in America, or I live in Atlanta, or I live in Arizona. I don't give a fuck. I'm trying to move to Indonesia, some fucking where. I'm trying to move, goddamn, to Honduras somewhere. Like, if I ain't talking them type of moves, and we ain't talking shit for real.
Right, and you'd be over there still talking about what's the buddy? I don't get the Bucks game over here. Shit, I'm trying to see.
And even if you did want to go to Honduras, ain't nothing wrong with that either.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
You know what I mean? I feel the same. You know what I mean? The world is the playground.
Earth is your turf. That's what we say. Earth is my turf.
Yeah,
right?
let's see what this out here.
Now,
do.
I want to go back to Heal the Hood because the one thing that's unique about Heal the Hood, and you've had how many? And I can say I was fortunate enough to be at the first one. I was at the first one with the Panthers. We ended up disarming some females. They was finna fight. I took a shovel from. It was crazy.
This is like the Heal the Hood.
Yeah, it was the first one where it was on Keith. It was on Keith Avenue.
Our first
you
one
know,
was on First and Right.
okay, well, I wasn't at the first one
Now
then.
we
I
did
must have
do
been at
one
the
on
second.
Second and Keith. We did some on 24th and Keith before.
We was on second. We was on second,
Okay.
and we was down there doing
Okay.
security, and it was beautiful because I seen the nation was
Oh,
there,
I
and
remember that. That was
okay,
over there kind of near the playground area.
yeah, well, it was across the
That
street
incident
in
you
a
talk
big
about
ass lot. Yep, yep, yep,
in
yep.
that
So,
lot. Yep, I know what you're talking about.
but what my point was, with thousands of black people together, and that's probably the extent of it. Us, doing that with the shovels, but they're taking the shovel. But that's why we was there anyways. Like you had reached out and said, "Yo, y'all come jump on the perimeter." So all these gatherings you've had, nothing has happened. Nothing, no
Ever.
violence, wasn't no riot, wasn't no, even at Juneteenth, the kids went crazy, shot somebody. And so a lot of people might need to get your blueprint on how you do that and how you organize. You can speak to that about being so connected to the community where you can say, hey man, we need to form a perimeter, and we need a day where ain't nothing happening because Heal the Hood is here. How do you do that? How you navigate that?
I think it's a couple of very intentional things that we do. For
Okay.
one, it's the energy that we put into the atmosphere. At Heal the Hood, you're not gonna hear no shoot 'em up music. You're not gonna hear no shake your booty music. You're not gonna hear no trapper music. You're gonna hear good vibration music, neo soul, some shit to dance and step to, so on and so forth. I will say, like this year in May, Steve the Stoner, and I'm assuming y'all know Steve the Stoner. He come do the free concerts, really back shit. 2 blocks make him do a backflip.
Yeah.
He pulled up to Heal the Hood, and I loved it. Right? Don't get me wrong. I absolutely loved his presence there because it was so Milwaukee. I mean, he just had the whole ghetto just turned up. However, I watched a video of it on Instagram, and it was a young boy in the audience, little dog, probably like 7, 8. He talking about shooting shit and carrying clips and make niggas do. He got the Tommy gun and shit. And I'm like, that's not what the fuck Heal the Hood is about. You see what I'm saying? And I think we get this energy of no violence, no so on and so forth, because we got real interrupters who do the work that partner with us. You know what I'm saying? Okay. So there can be a fight finna happen up the street somewhere way away from me and my staff and whatnot, but it might be 10 people who do community work around it, and they can smell a fight finna happen. So it's a mandate that we don't just come to Heal the Hood to have no table. We don't just come to Heal the Hood just to promote our product or whatever. If you come to Heal the Hood, you got a duty and an obligation to say, this is me stepping up for my community. So no kids will be harmed. Nobody gonna steal shit. Nobody gonna fight, so on and so forth. So we really do create that tone, and we bring in the spirit of God. We don't do nothing without prayer first. And I'm not saying prayer gonna save a life, but I'm saying I'm a praying man, and I'm gonna always pray before we go into the battlefield. You dig?
There we go. And Erica Hunt said the energy is key, which is what you just basically spoke to. And I guess my story about the shovel was because you probably knew nothing of what was going on. We were proactive in saying, no, y'all ain't finna do this today. You know what I'm saying? And just disarm the whole situation. It didn't even get to the point where you had to come over there and be like, hey man, what's going on? It was like, nah, man, we just took care of that and just,
we done had some little minor, like one particular year was a young dog. He walking up, he got his shirt off, he got a big stupid stick hanging out his pants. You know what I'm saying? And nephew, man, what you got that shit for, nephew? Man, I ain't on nothing. I'm just coming to the event and shit. Man, you gotta put that away, little bro. This ain't even. We got kids, we got elders. You gotta put that away, little bro. Put it up and came to parlay. And it was another situation on 24th and Burleigh. Some women had got into it, but they wasn't with Heal the Hood. It was a high school right there. We did Heal the Hood on a Friday this particular day. And so mothers from the school got into it, and one of the mamas was storming off to her car to go get her pistol. And I stood in front of her car door. I'm like, mama. And she's trying to square up with me and shit. I'm like, mama, listen, I ain't on that, but I cannot let you get into your car. I will not let you get into your car. And then eventually some staff members came up to relieve me. We calmed it all down. But man, we just don't have that type of shit in the hood. We can't do it, not on our watch.
I'm glad that it goes down without a hitch, because they chomping at the bit to take something like that away from us. And I don't think a lot of us understand, when we go to these events and we act a goddamn fool, then that means you probably won't be having that event in the near future. And so that takes away from everybody. Why I can't have a good time? Because you having a bad day. You understand? But I happened to walk into a barbershop last week, And I walked smack dab into the middle of the filming of a documentary about Dr. Howard Fuller. I had no intentions. I had no inclinations. I did not know. My barber, prayers to Paul Cooper, who's a barber in the hood right on Capitol for, I don't know, 30 years, and in an attempted robbery to take his truck in the spring, he was shot 15 times. That's been my barber for 20 something years, right? And so I'm used to just walking in. Paul know how to cut my hair. I got some crazy hair. He know how to cut it. So the only other barber I have is my partner Phil. So shout out to Phil at Phil Goods. But I call him because he do the appointment. I'm new to the appointment stuff. I like my barber. I'm just coming in when I get there. You know what I'm saying? I said, Phil, you good? He said, come through. I walk in. It's a camera. It's white dudes, and I can't remember the brother's name. I'm gonna get him here on Outlaw Radio, but they're filming a documentary about Dr. Howard Fuller. I don't know, so I instantaneously start doing what I do. And all of a sudden, the camera's in my face, and I didn't learn until the end. Like, oh my God! I talked to these dudes who's the cameraman. They're like, man, can we please just put your footage in what you said? I said, I ain't tripping. I ain't saying nothing bad. You know what I'm saying? But there's a point to all this. Okay. I had some work that I done with the Howard Fuller Academy. Was it? What's the full name?
Howard Fuller.
There we go. Right on Capitol. I was working for College Possible. I was a program coordinator. I had a mirror. I had the volunteers from AmeriCorps, and we were doing this curriculum for first generation college students. So I became very familiar with the principal, the staff, and I used to always see your name, but we never crossed paths. I used to be in and out the building checking on my people. So, but now it's moved to another level where he has an expansion of schools. But you working in that building, the one thing I know when I walked in there is that was the real deal. Them was the babies. Them was the hood babies. Them was the babies who growing up in these situations in Milwaukee. So when somebody asks, what should we do about these kids? I'm often like, man, it's a whole lot. But unless you really been front line, because I was an MPS teacher, and then, so I know, talk about that. You being able to work with these kids, and let's be honest, they wild. Look at what we got going on with the theft, the car thefts, and they're dying more now than we are. The OGs ain't getting killed like that no more. Yeah, it's the BGs, it's the 14, 15, 16-year-olds. So when you walk in there and have these conversations with these young brothers who really just made hard by their life and their circumstances, how you doing, man?
I love them young brothers and sisters. I get excited to talk to them young brothers and sisters, man. I had did about a year and 3 months of a curriculum inside of Vale Phillips Juvenile Justice Center. So I'm working with all the 17 and under, between 10 and 17, all the juvenile offenders, whether they first-time offenders, maybe they runaways, maybe they didn't, got some bodies on their record, maybe they got 50, 60 car thefts on their record, so on and so forth. And when you talk about Heal the Hood, I just want to kind of go back to that and relate the two questions. One thing we big on is how we engage the youth. Lil bro who, and I can't speak too heavily on it, but Lil bro who shot up at Juneteenth last year, I had him in detention with me, and in so many words, Lil bro said he didn't even think before he pulled the trigger. It was so instantaneous of seeing my op. We exchanged words. I pulled pistol and squeeze. So Lil bro, in the span of maybe 5 seconds, then now got him double-digit years in the pen. Now, when it comes to how we choose to engage young people with Heal the Hood, for one, we put money in their hand. So if it's ever, we always just got petty cash on us. So it might be a time where maybe some of our volunteers didn't show up in the food area and we need 2 or 3 extra people. I'm gonna see some young people. Hey, Lil Kamar, hey, Lil Rail, can I give y'all little brothers like $20, $30, man? Can y'all come help out over at the food right quick? Let me give y'all $20, $30 a piece. Boom, they damn near probably do it for free, truth be told, because they be so in the spirit of wanting to be engaged and involved. But when you put that paper in their hand, that's different. I had some young people, 4 young people, and this is just the evolution of Heal the Hood. Allow me just 2 moments and shit. Because this last Heal the Hood we did in August was very monumental for me, very personal for me. Couple reasons. For one, we had our Heal the Hood in May. I had 4 young people, high schoolers from Transition High School, reach out to me. They heard about Heal the Hood. They wanted to volunteer with us. I'm like, bet. Now transition, that's right in the hood. That's right on like fucking 17th and Center or some shit, right near Titonian Center, somewhere up in there. So I go up to the school, I meet with them, I give them my poetry books, I chop game with these beautiful black babies, 1 boy, 3 girls, and the teacher who helped coordinate it all. So long story short, they come out to Heal the Hood. They is at Heal the Hood early as a bitch, and they stay all the way to the end. Not only was they volunteering wherever we needed them, they had these costumes, like these unicorn costumes and Spider-Man costumes. So they put them on for a couple hours and kicked it with the kids and engaged and blah, blah, blah. So about maybe 2 or 3 weeks after Heal the Hood, I took them young brothers and sisters and that teacher, I took them out for ice cream at Culver's. We had fun, played card games, blah, blah, blah. Fast forward, right? In August, one of our community partners says to me, little bro, I got $150 I want to give a piece to 4 teenagers. Do you got any kids we can do? And let's bless them at Heal the Hood, blah, blah, blah. I called my teenagers who volunteered and I said, see, y'all sold on the front end and God bless y'all on the back end. So to be able to bring them on Heal the Hood and acknowledge them and say, hey, I appreciate y'all for volunteering today and in May, and as a token of appreciation, this is my partner Shantae Nelson and company, and she wants to bless y'all XYZ. So that's one thing. And the second thing, and I'll be quick with it and shit. I get so excited talking about this.
But take your time. Take your time. It's our machine. We ain't got to cut it off till we want to.
Say the fuck less. We big on transferring power nowadays with Heal the Hood. We want to take me off the front of it. We want to take the team off the front of it, and we want to empower young people. So I say, listen, let's get some young people who in our camp and let's let them host Heal the Hood. So I called my friend Marquesa Tucker. I said, sis, can your daughter Zoe, can she host Heal the Hood? Zoe just won Miss Juneteenth this year. Zoe is one of the most beautiful, articulate, beautiful black girls you will ever meet and just filled with the spirit of God. She said yes, instantly. Then I called my nephew Fat Fat. His name Edward. We call him Fat Fat. I said, Fat Fat, you want to host Heal the Hood this year? He's a very charismatic brother. I mean, I love him. He's just jovial, great character, great energy and spirit. And so we let them host it. But the power in it is they've been around the Heal the Hood since like day one, literally. My nephew was my nephew. The night of Heal the Hood, after we did the event, my niece Zoe, who hosted Heal the Hood, she sent me a picture of her 10 years ago at Heal the Hood. We had a fire truck out there. She on the fire truck with her fire hat on and shit 10 years ago. And now here she is hosting Heal the Hood. So when we talk about putting our young people in position to empower them about this thing, it ain't just, oh, save the youth, save the youth. No, we ain't giving them fish. We teaching them how to fish. We putting them in position so they can understand the background of organizing, of hosting, of stage presence. All you brothers know there's value in communication and being able to host and things of nature like that. So when it comes to how do we engage these babies, we love the trenches kids and the trenches kids love us. Cause shit, I ain't too far removed from the trenches. I'm only 33. I just turned 33. So I'm still a baby, my damn fucking self, right?
Right.
But when I talk about my life and my lived experience, I'll say this and then pass the mic and shit. Like, I don't be talking from like when I was younger or back in my day. Like, nigga, I was struggling yesterday, goddammit. I was struggling last year, goddammit. And I'm very transparent with my young people. So when I can talk to them on the level, like, listen, fam, I know you in the trenches, Lil Rel. I understand you got XYZ going on, but you still got a crown on your head. And the key is sometimes your crown made of thorns. Sometimes your crown, Lil Rel, is made of gold and jewels. But it's the crown that God gave you, and you got to wear that motherfucker proud. So let's figure this out. Let's write some goals down. Let's put a plan in action, and let's get up out these trenches. And that's it.
There you go. And listen, if you're just tuning in, it's Outlaw Radio live from the basement. I got my brother, Mr. Heal the Hood, Ajamu Butler here. I got the Ghetto Witch Doctor, and I got Fonzarelli, and myself, the mayor of Chocolate City, militant with a microphone, a.k.a. the Negro Whisperer. The phone number is 262-202-5131. The chat room's popping. Let me catch the chat room. Erica Hunt says, say that you got to bring God with you. She says facts, de-escalation at these events are very important. She said, but you got to make sure your event doesn't antagonize your audience. And I heard, that's what I heard him saying when he was talking about the music, putting certain kind of energy in the air that kind of encourages the rowdiness in the first place. If you just, we've talked about the influence of music and culture a lot on this show, right? She said that's why Heal the Hood gets her respect. Sean Moore, man, what it do, Sean? Famo, neighborhood, man. Sean, holla at me, man. You gotta holla at me, man. We gotta chop it up. Kathy McBride, she said, greetings from Illinois. Education on juvenile crimes and conflict resolution would be a good start. Always appreciate strategies to help young people. Erica says, say that it teaches them how to earn money. Ace Cooley, I see you, family. He's in the chat room. He said, what it do, fellas? How you doing tonight, Ace? Ace is in Arizona. Erica says Ajamu uses God's teachings in his work. I hear it coming from him. Vince Tony, what up, man? Vince Tony, man. He said, what up, Outlaws? Vince
Man,
is an outlaw.
Vince,
yeah.
I want to say
Vince.
something. I just want to say something to Vince. Man, Vince, inbox me, man. You said some real interesting shit in my Heal the Hood inbox, and I asked you a question for clarification, and you never followed up on that. And that question kind of, so Vince, hit me up, family. I ain't never like that. If you got any questions about the effectiveness of Heal the Hood, the impact of Heal the Hood, I'm always open to discussing it, brother. But we men, family, and if you ever think that Heal the Hood ain't effective, let's talk about that, brother Vince. All love. It's all love.
Holla at that man, Vince. Holla, especially if he's in his inbox. And say, don't be no stranger. He said, don't throw the rock and hide your hand. Holla at the man. John Fletcher, what up, family? He said, hey, let's go, family. Preach. You see John Fletcher from EPU Personal Defense. He's scrolling across the bottom of the screen as well. He's been a sponsor in the past, so I just left it up there. EPUSDS.com is their website. That's that good hand-to-hand handle your business. So man, much appreciated. Like, and I asked you a question, and I love the fact that what you said was multi-layered and multi-tiered, because when it comes to working with these young cats, it is like you really got to get invested with them, because number one, if you're not consistent, they're not going to listen to you. And number two, if you're not really walking the walk, like Kamar say, walking the walk and talking the talk, they're not going to listen to you. They can recognize a liar, or they can smell a bullshitter. You can't fool these youngsters. They see right through it, right? And so if you're there for them, you got to be there for them. Now, I said that, but the flip side of that is one of the mantras that we've come up with on Outlaw Radio for the scourge of youth crime is lock their ass up. And I'm going to elaborate. Sometimes love is not just gentle love. It's not just sweet love. Sometimes love is tough love. And if your ears can't comprehend, and if my efforts and all the things that I do to show you there's a better way fall on deaf ears, then there's another tier you have to go to learn what you need to learn. So you have a brother like Ajamu with Heal the Hood, where you can get an opportunity and really chop it up with this brother, and he can enlighten you. But if you're so poisoned by the streets, and you are antisocial, and you threatening the babies, and not me, I'm old. My brother said he young, he a baby. I'm not. I'm long in the tooth. You don't get the right to disrupt me working hard to provide a place for my family. You know what I'm saying? My son, when he was here, my biggest worry is that he'd be taken off this planet by some fucking idiot, young kid who, because his life is fucked up, he's going to take from me, right? So one of the answers that I gave you, that we gave when we said, what do we do about the reckless driving? And we say mandatory minimums. A lot of black people's like, whoa, yes, mandatory, and that's what they're moving towards right now. The DA has announced they're not going to skip over these cases anymore. They're not going to dismiss them. You come in there with them cases, they going hard body karate at you. That doesn't mean I don't love these young brothers, because God knows I don't work with a million of them and their families, and it's enough of them out there to tell you. A lot of times we doing this show, you see them chime in, what up, Coach? What up, Coach Barnes? What up, Mr. Barnes? But I say, after a certain point, you got to understand decisions have consequences and repercussions. You do A, you do B, don't pass, go to jail. And that's just the reality of the country we live in. So I want to say that while you was here. So after the show, you know, people, man, Ajamu, what Kev and them didn't say is they normally be talking about locking young niggas up. They're front like they love you there. No, we believe in that. Lock them up. Just
what's different?
Huh? Say that again.
I was just gonna say, you know what I mean? It's a difference. You know what I mean? Like, the objective is always to teach. It's always to help. You know what I'm saying? To uplift. But then, you know what I mean, when they get past that, like after you done taught, after you done lifted, after, you know what I mean, and you got some that just don't want to change. They just want to keep doing the wild stuff. They want to keep harming the community. If you want to be a danger to the community, you got to go. You go sit down, think about it, come on back and try it again.
Yes. And I have close relationships with a lot of brothers who went that path. And some of them say to me, Kev, getting locked up saved my life.
Man.
Right.
If they didn't sit me down,
Right.
if they didn't sit me down, yeah.
But you know, I want this because it's a thin line. Am I chopping up? Am I good?
No,
you good. You good.
Okay, say no more. It's a thin line though, because it's prison systems around the world, prison industrial complexes around the world that really focuses on reform. They focus on educational development. They focus on good health and nutrition. They let cats and shit like that in the prison because that brings a certain level of peace and nurturing to the table, and all this other stuff. So, you know, I ain't gonna lie, and I ain't taking nothing from it because, like you said, when you got young brothers who got 30, 40, 50 armed robberies on their sheet, and they real shooters, not no little, they real shooters. Like
that's what I'm talking about.
But I also know that sending them to jails in America ain't gonna help too much of nothing. Now, yes, there are exceptions to the cases where people go in and they change their life. They might find religion, they might find so on and so forth. But I'm just saying the young brothers who I work with going into the prison and seeing them overloaded, seeing them young niggas not even have bunk beds to sleep on, they got to sleep on a cot in the hallway. I don't necessarily know that prison is a direct link to correcting the behavior.
Okay, and to that, what I'll say is I think a lot of people don't understand. When we talk about prison, it's supposed to be punitive to a certain degree. It is actually supposed to be a punishment. So it is supposed to challenge you. It is supposed to put you in a situation where you be like, whoa, this is hard. Like, I don't want to ever come back here.
Hey, contrary to popular belief, you know what I mean? It is a lot of work in the prison system. Like, it is a lot of stuff you can learn that can help, you know what I mean? But it's on the prisoner if he want to do the work. If you want to take these classes, if you want to take these classes and be serious about it, because that was one of the things. I went to this program. It was at one of the prisons. It's called DAC, where, you know what I mean, is a program where it's a 6-month program and they go hard on your brain. You know what I'm saying? On your thinking, corrective thinking and everything. But you have to really be serious about this shit. Like, cause they're gonna try to get you, they're gonna get you to look at yourself, take a look at, you know what I mean, some of these things that's fucked up about you, your errors in thought. You know what I mean? Take a look at this shit, learn where it's at. And you know, me being there, I'm gonna tell you, that carried over to me right now out in the streets, because I still do that shit to this day. Whenever I have a problem with somebody, I go back and I think about where was I wrong in that problem, and I find my place. You know what I mean? Now it's easier for me to come back to apologize and make, you know what I mean, and iron that crease again. You know what I'm saying? So, but that's why I say, you know what I mean, lock their ass up, give them a chance to go sit down, regroup, you know what I'm saying? And hopefully they take one of them programs, or hopefully they learn the right person. I mean, meet the right person that can set their head straight in there. You know what I'm saying? Because out here, it's too much shit going on to where they can really get their mind right and sit down to, you know what I mean, start over. You got to go get away and reset.
And that's that thing, the value in when we say you rather be judged by 12 than carried by 6, because there is a shot at redemption when you judge by 12, but when you carried by 6, that's it.
Correct.
It ain't no coming back from that.
Real, what you think, bro?
Shit, I think the same thing. You know, I look at it like this: when a cell doesn't get the proper information or building blocks we call nutrition, that cell malfunctions and become a cancerous cell.
Right.
And it begins to impart on the well-being of the healthy cells around it. So the goal is always to isolate the problematic cell so that it doesn't turn the other. So I feel that before healing can start, there has to be a stopping the spread. You know, you got to isolate it before you can treat it. so that it doesn't spread and become harder to treat. So I believe in some cases, especially when the kids are, when they just beyond correction, they may need some time to be isolated from, because sometimes it's the environment. Some people do well away from their environment because it gave them a chance to identify themselves and have that talk within themselves they need to have. But unfortunately, once they reintroduce to the same environment, all that jail talk go by the wayside. People come out of jail ready to be married, Muslim, all kinds of shit.
Right. All that.
But once they back in that same environment, it goes out the window. So I believe it's good to separate some, find themselves and the healing that they need.
There you go. Erica Hunt in the chat room. She said, my kids are never scared to attend Heal the Hood, and I'm never stressed when we attend. That's more kudos to this brother and how he organizes this event. And I'm knock on wood. I don't want to, after I say it, then some shit happen. And care to one you know what I'm saying? Like keep doing what you're doing. I'm big upping you. I ain't put no challenge out there like I dare you to act a fool. You know how we do, man. We knee jerk reaction. Deion Carter, man, my brother. Every time I see him on, I can't say enough. That is my guy right there. That is one of my wild Western partners, man. We went to college, North Dakota, Minnesota. Shout out to you, Deion, man. Peace and love, man. Good dude right there, man, for real. Captain McBride said this country has 5% of the world's population in jails. On any given day, 60K juveniles under the age of 18 enter into the juvenile justice system. On a daily basis, 3K of them will serve a life sentence. Oh, wow.
That reminds me of the book Just Mercy. That's a cold book. Y'all should read that book if you haven't already. Just Mercy. That's a cold book, man. Just about the juvenile justice center or juvenile justice crisis, rather.
Erica Hunt says that's why you got to prepare people for what they return it back into. It's the same way with church. People come to church to get saved, but then I go home today, same problem. So prepare them for what they're getting ready to go back to. Listen, I love the tone of the conversation, but I have to speak once again as a man of a certain age. First of all, let me say I survived one of the most treacherous eras in the history of this country as a young black man. I survived the crack epidemic. I keep telling these people from 85 to 95, I went from 10 to 20. And them was the peak years of the crack epidemic. I'm talking about in this city, devastated and gutted by the crack epidemic. Bang, bang, shoot 'em up. Gang banging, dope slanging, pimping, macking, stealing, willing, killing, you name it. This is what I grew up seeing, okay? And I worked very hard. I worked very, very hard to change my life. I actually changed my whole environment. I changed all the people I hang around. I made sure I didn't say I'm leaving and I was gone. I'm changing. I changed my mentality, right? So nobody gets to disrupt the peace that I worked so hard to maintain. 8 to 80, dumb, cripple, or crazy. You are all, to me, it's all bad. You understand? So when I see a youngster, and I've been in education, workforce development, social services, and nonprofit for the last 24 years. 24 years. Check my resume. It's an album, not a 45. You don't hear me talking about it. I don't pat myself on the back for it because I've been compensated for it. I'm a professional black people helper. I'm a certified professional life coach right now. And I'm willing to give you all the leniency I can and all the grace and all the mercy, but don't cross the gun line, boss. Don't cross the gun line. You don't get to threat. Listen, your life is hard. Hey, man, shit. You don't get to fuck my good kid up if you didn't know your father.
Like hard, but I'm finna make it harder. You fuck around.
I'm just saying. I don't mind. Look, I mind my business. I'm one of them. I see a youngster. I'm not on no, but hey, can you buy me some blunts? Nah, man, youngster, I ain't buying you no blunts. No, you ain't seeing me pass no bottle, no sack, no nothing, no pistol to no young cat. I tell a young cat in a minute, hey man, you need to get your shit together, man. So
Mhm.
with me, it's like you said, a thin line. I love you, but I don't love you more than I love me and mine. Okay. And if I get a chance to
Yep.
make a decision between me and you, I don't give a fuck how old you are. You got to go. Or else it'll be me.
And I ain't gonna lie, it's heartbreaking because as a lawful gun owner, as a lawful firearm owner, I always go into the field knowing that if I ever got to use my pistol, unfortunately, it's probably gonna be against a young black man somewhere within a few age ranges of me. He probably gonna have dreadlocks like me. He probably might be a dad just like me, and that should be breaking my heart. That should be
That's
breaking
right.
my heart. But it's the truth though. It's the truth.
But that's where that power, I heard you say faith of a mustard seed, right? And I was blessed by God. So even in my most street days, I didn't carry a pistol. I had access to plenty of them, but I didn't carry them. My first resort was always to throw these things up. And so I'm like, look, you know, if you get to me before I get to you, you's a bad motherfucker, because I was good with mine. So I wasn't walking around bullying people because I could fight. I respect everybody until they disrespect me, right? But when now we talk about, like you said, as a legal gun owner, which I so proudly am. What's the great quote by Jay-Z? Like, short sleeves, I bear arms. Okay.
Come on. Come on.
I don't carry, I'm not riding around with no big 40 on me. Do I have one? Absolutely. I ain't riding around with the AK laid across the back of the seat. Do I have one? Absolutely.
Why not though?
Because you know what? Because to me, my spirit is different then. And I should be smart enough to supervise my environment to the point where that's not required. Like, you can't come around me if you still, listen, man, I'm about to turn 49 years old in November. You can't come around me and you still got drama. You come over my house talking about I just got done fighting with some niggas that, listen, bro.
That's crazy work.
This is nah, son. Like, nah. Yeah. I don't deal with none of
work.
I don't do none of
work, man.
But I got
40 something, you got beef out here.
Yeah, I'm saying I'm not. Shout out to my
You
my
focus
brothers.
on the wrong shit.
Shout out to my brothers who still in that life, but they know if you ask them, hey, why don't you call Kev? Kev, shit, I ain't seen Kev in 12 years. I ain't calling him. You wouldn't. First of all, my shit's legal, so you can't. Yeah, you know I mean, like, come on, stop it. So I'm just saying the way I live my life is dedicated. It's purposeful. It's intentional. Now, that don't mean I can't be a victim of a random crime, right? But God is God, and God makes the decisions anyways. I don't have no control over it. I don't worry about things I can't control. But two things, and I was told this by one of my college football coaches. He said, Barnes, you are a very emotional guy. Somebody say something to you, foul, you ready to go to the mattresses. You always ready for a fight. I said, yeah. He said, but you spend too much time worrying about things you can't control. He said, it's only two things in this world you can actually control, and I want you to focus on them. I said, what? He said, your attitude and your effort.
That's right.
You can, that's the only two things you can control. And so once you master both of those things, you'll probably be okay. So I'm just saying, but in Milwaukee, you got to keep your antennas up. Because you don't know. I hear noise outside my house. I'm in the window, like Malcolm.
You know what's crazy though? I swear to God, where I'm at in North Carolina, like the first time I heard a car siren, I was probably down here for like a month, and I heard some police sirens, but it was like an accident on the freeway, and it really dawned on me like this is the legitimate first time I'm seeing a police car in motion. And they're not going to a killing, or they're not going to a nice shit that happened everywhere, right? I ain't saying North Carolina prone to niggas killing niggas.
No doubt, right.
But I notice it, and it feel good to be able to breathe a little bit more peacefully. You know what I'm saying? Truth be told, man.
And you know what? I've always been told, like, peace is a state of mind, though, right? Like, so just a peaceful existence. Once again, I understand it doesn't guarantee you any damn thing. But to be at peace is kind of like you really have to work on it, because coming from where we come from, you always stimulated. You always like, hey man, what'd he say? Hey man, who's them dudes over there? Hey man, who car is that? You know, everything is on the one. Like, hey man, y'all hear that? You know what I'm saying? When you get to a place where you can just say, you know, I'm chilling. My home is one of my places where I can sit back and say, I'm chilling. Should nobody be coming over here with nothing? Matter of fact, It's only a couple people that really come over here, unless I say, hey, bro, come through, which I don't often do, because we've done very good at creating a peaceful situation for ourselves, my wife and I, where we don't do drama. We don't do all the extra. Listen, man, wrong decade. You'd have hit me in 98 with that shit, I'd have been ready to go. Like, man, shit, where you want to meet up at? Now, I'd be like, you called me? What the fuck you called me for? Shout out to Dion in the chat room. We said, keep this going. Y'all are real. We need this. It's all love. Dion, man, you already know, man. And Dion know I've been like this even since you're a kid putting on for the. No, this is how I was talking in 94, 95 when we was in school and shit. Shout out to John Fletcher. Everyone needs to learn their boundaries and think about what line you will cross to protect what matters to you. Yeah, that's that story where the dude is running through the woods. He's running through the forest, right? And it's a bear chasing him. And he's praying to God. He's saying, God, please don't let this bear eat me. Please save me, God. And he run to a cliff. And he can't jump off the cliff, but he's still praying. And he's saying, God, please save me. And he looked back and the bear's down on his knees saying, Lord, I thank you for this meal I'm about to receive. You don't never know.
Hey, where you hear this story at? Who told you this?
My father.
What? That's a game, dog.
My father used to always tell me that story. Like, man, the guy looked back and the bear was down on his knees saying his prayers. So, well, who God gonna help? Like, what? Sometimes it's just your time, right? You in the wrong place at the wrong time. Let's see. George Lucas, another one of my homies from the neighborhood. He said, facts, bruh. TTF, baby. We know what that is. CDTFB all day. You know that. I got that in a hashtag FBA, Foundational Black American, hashtag EBA, Eric Bernard that way. That's always it's always how we present this thing. Dion Carter, he said, exactly. Watch your surroundings. Look, I want to say this because I put an article up in the People's News Network about my brother. And I say my brother because to me, we all brothers anyways, right? And it don't matter what our minor disagreements or whatever our opinions, it doesn't matter. We're all, at the end of the day, we all black men. I want to shout out my brother and I want to give him some prayers. My brother Vaughn Mays. You see the news today, said he took a plea deal. And the details in the Journal Center, I don't even really want to go into the details about the specific charges or anything like that. But like we were having this conversation before we started the show because I said I want to talk about it because everything has to be taken into context. And what was going on in the city of Milwaukee in 2016, it was what they call it a breaking point. And we was dealing with Mike Brown. We was dealing with the brothers Seville Smith. We was dealing with my brother what's the brother murdered in the park at Arrow Park, Dontre Hamilton. We were coming off Frank Jude, right? We was just going through all these egregious. Mensa was going wild, killing people in Wauwatosa, right? Jay Anderson. I'm talking about a 2-year period where I was going to, once again, I was involved in grassroots organizing. So I was going to vigils. We was meetings just where we was trying to figure out what we gonna do about all this craziness. The city went up in flames. That's how serious it was. Mm-hmm. And I can tell you what I saw from our young black people that night was unprecedented because brothers will protest and we will protest until them hard boots start coming with them shields, right? That riot squad. I seen young black kids like, we don't give a fuck. I seen them. They bombarded the police. The police was hiding behind they own. Listen, I seen these young people. The city was so frustrated. Something needed to be done. Common Council, once again, a bunch of talking heads, not doing what they need to do. Our so-called leadership in this community, once again, bought and sold by the man. I don't have to say your name if you was on the Common Council at that time. If the shoe fits, buy a matching purse. That brother took it upon himself to say something has to be done. And I want to acknowledge his effort. Cold thing is, when these white people play with you, the feds, they coming for real, right? And who's usually the one? It's usually one of our own to give us up, right? So he's taking his plea deal. I hope they don't try to max him out. I'm hoping he gets some probation because all the work and efforts he's been putting up in the community should be taken into account. Like, if we're gonna talk about since then and now, I'm pretty sure this brother will tell you, man, I've learned and I've evolved so much. Now, I see in the paper, this is what the Journal Sentinel does. They try to throw the story in about the concert that they had last summer, and a 17-year-old was murdered, right? They try to put some sauce on it. But I want us to give him his credit as a black man who wanted to see something done in his community, as opposed to going along with what the white man said about, oh, he tried to incite a riot, or well, he didn't have to. The city was rioting already. So that's already, he didn't start it, as far as I know. It was y'all started it by the way y'all act. It was reactionary. And a lot of us was hollering at the same time, hell yeah, burn that shit down. Come on, remember on the show, he said burn all this shit down. So shout out to him, man. I never want to see. I just said lock their ass up, but I never want to see a black man go to prison, especially dealing with the feds. So I want to shout him out, man, and give him props. And I know y'all sneak listeners. I know y'all, he talking about you. We keeping it a buck with you, brother. God bless you, man. And you know, you done fought the good fight. So I seen his comments. He said, let's move on. He said, let's get it over with and move on. So, so you're a soldier in the community. What you think about this thing, man?
Man, let me say that I unapologetically love Von Mays. Okay. And I love him because most people don't know, me and Von had some very petty ass beef back when. Now, just follow me for 2 moments. Oh, my mama, just follow me for 2 moments. You mentioned the second and Keith Heal the Hood. I probably didn't know that y'all shit was popping off that y'all was dealing with, because me and Von had got into it at Heal the Hood.
I seen it. I wasn't gonna bring it up.
And Islam and some of the Vice Lord brothers got in between us and pushed us apart. You see what I'm saying? So that was like 2015. But nowadays in 2024, motherfucker can't tell me nothing about Von Mays. Can't nobody and their mama come back to me and say nothing about that black man, because I have watched him slave and save lives and love on these hoods and heal these hoods in his own beautiful fashion, so on and so forth. Do I wish that, and I really ain't got all the info on it, you know, you just put me on game before the show came on, that he took the plea. I don't really know all of the particulars of the case, but do I wish that our young soldiers would think a little bit smarter as we fight this fight? Brother Von, Khalil Coleman, so on and so forth. Hell yeah, I wish niggas won't be so rough around the edges. We gonna say that. But on my life, I don't blame Von for shit. I support him. If he get locked down, I'll be the first nigga to put money on whatever, however we sending him some paper, and I'm gonna make sure that nigga Lame live on. I just brought him to my Marquette classes this summer. I'm like, Von, I need you to come talk to some of my students, man, some of my seniors, about the movement and so on and so forth. So I stand behind bro 101%, 101%.
And that's funny.
And we got different ideologies on some Martin Luther King, Malcolm X, if you want to, you know, make it that basic of a difference in ideology. But like, we do such similar work. We brothers in the struggle, for real, for real.
Like I said, at the end of the day, we all black men. And like I said, I was there, that it was crazy, because I had no inclination of you know what I mean? Like, I was just I had just jumped into the whole grassroots thing, because we were doing the podcast then. It was called Chocolate City. And all we was doing was talking about what was going on. I started in 2014 doing this. And I said to myself, it's not enough, even though, like I said, this is the way I make my living. So I'm doing that as my 9 to 5. I think then I was working for Employ Milwaukee or something, like Workforce Development or MATC, one of them places I was, one of them jobs I had. And I said, I got to do this. So I started rocking with the Panthers. I started rocking with them. I said, look, they out here. I'm going to jump out here. And that was the first thing I went to with them. So I had no inclination of what was going on. I was just like, damn, why they put, because he was with us at first. And we all know how that whole thing went, right? And so I'm like, damn, like, it was crazy. But it's a full circle moment for you to say you brought him to speak to your students. That's that's evolution, man. Kamar, what you think about this, man? What you think? And once again, this article is in the People's News Network. If you want to know the details of the case, I'm not going into the particulars. I'm talking about the brother and his efforts. Go ahead, Kamar.
Well, I agree. I agree with the effort. You know what I mean? I always say, man, you know, find the lane and run. You know what I'm saying? Find your lane and run in it. You know what I mean? And that's one thing that brother did. If something was going on around the city, you know what I mean, he was there to see about it.
Yeah,
You
always.
know what I mean? Find your lane and run.
Yeah,
You know
always.
what I'm saying? And he
Yeah.
did that, man. I commend that brother. For
He's
real.
been on here a bunch of times. He's been on here. He's called in a bunch of times. Come on, man. It's not like
found his lane and he ran in his lane, but he also run his lane.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? He's great at what he do. Like he runs that race, but he also run that race too.
Straight up. If something go on, you know what I mean? How many people around the city think to call him?
Right. That's what I'm saying. His mobility is always. I've been like, dude, does he have a backbone? This dude's literally I can't even imagine how many times a day his phone rings.
That guy. Yeah, he that guy.
Hey, I'm telling you. Hey, look. He probably watching the show right now. Like,
somebody
when he say his name, you know what I mean? He show up.
Hey, look, he like the candy man. Anytime we say his name on Outlaw Radio, he'll pop up in the comments like, hey, what's going on? Like, I don't know if y'all watch everybody else show like that. Tell him, but show with Outlaw Radio, somebody be like, hey, call him and tell him that. Man, but see, can't listen, man. We're not. This is not a tabloid. So first of all, I never hate on no other brother, even if I disagree with you, because I've already taken the oath. I don't put other black people down. I disagree with black people sometimes.
That's right.
But it ain't gonna never be about me. Oh, hey, motherfucker, and the white man can't lead me into it. So, and even another black man who's salty about his position. Well, what you think about this thing, man? I know you might not know a whole lot, but just the fact that a brother was out here trying to be active, and now they hitting him with the thing. No diddy.
It seems to always happen, man. I mean, the reality is we do the best we can with the knowledge we do have, and it seems like they waiting to catch us slipping, and then we human. So, in our moment of showing humanity, that's when motherfuckers be ready to pounce. Like I brought up the dude before who was trying to help people get their stolies back. He was doing what he the best he could with what he knew and thought he was helping folk. But he ran into some circumstances. So, I can't speak on how other people fight. They fight as long as they, standing on their convictions and doing their shit. And I'll continue to fight the fight in the way I can, which is writing books and then when my vacation time re-up in January, I plan on taking my children's book into some of these schools to introduce them to the emotional intelligence.
And you can't talk like that around me, real. I'm gonna tell you to do that shit, bro.
Yeah, that's the plan, man. With my vacation time real, I just published a children's book, introducing children to emotional intelligence. And for me, that's the biggest thing. Like I didn't realize how big it was when I was in elementary school, but at E.L. Phillip Elementary in third grade, they made me a peer mediator.
Shout out to E.L. Phillip.
And I didn't realize how valuable learning, crisis intervention and conflict resolution was in the third grade. They just taught me that shit to mediate other people.
Yeah. Well, we was always fighting at that damn school anyway. That's my elementary school. We was always fighting. So they was always mediating. Like, man, what is y'all fighting about?
They have to get involved. But as I start getting into I was fighting. But as I get these certifications in emotional intelligence and shit like that, it's like, damn, I was taught critical thinking in 6th grade. I was taught conflict resolution in 3rd grade. I'm like, so it helped me become the person I am. So that's why I want to get back into these schools and be like, nah, if you feeling fucked up, if you ain't feeling right, take 4 seconds to breathe. It oxygenates your prefrontal cortex. What'd you say?
You got a plan of action on how you getting into the schools and all of that good jazz, or what?
Not yet. I just finished publishing the book. I got 2 more books to publish in this series. And I just updated my LinkedIn because I figure I can't do shit till my vacation time re-up. My 9 to 5.
Plantation, boy. That plantation keep you occupied.
Real. Discovery call, bro. I do what I call discovery calls, man. They be about 25-30 minutes, and it just be light checking. I like to hear where people's thoughts is at and shit, and just give some game on how you can take it from here and go ahead, take it from there, maybe skip a few steps. So if we can, bro, let's get on the discovery call, maybe in the next week or 2, man, and just chop some game up and shit, bro.
Oh, for sure. I'm down. And that's how I fight my fight. I publish shit and do speaking engagements.
Well, I'm here to tell you, real. I was at Phillip years before you, And the reason they had conflict resolution because we was always fighting. Elementary school, man, hey man, it's going down before and after school. On the way home, on the playground, when you get there in the morning,
Man, I
somebody's
got
always getting fired
into a
on.
fight in elementary school just because a nigga didn't like I stirred up my ice cream so it could be soft serve. And the motherfucker was like, "You nasty, you put milk in your ice cream." I'm like, dude, worry about yourself. This
I'm
nigga
beating you
came
up.
to me on the basketball court. Like, what was that you was talking in lunch? I got into a fight over how the fuck I stirred my ice cream, man, in the first grade.
I had from kindergarten to 5th grade. I'm telling y'all, this ain't no lie. This elementary school, and anybody from shout out to 4100, they know. From kindergarten to 5th grade in elementary school, I probably had about 15, 16 fights, fist fights. Just because, like you said, it could be anything, man. You think you cold because you got them shoes? What? Bow. And for me, it was always, all you gonna do is go get his big brother. No, you're gonna have to deal with me. Matter of fact, he's the nice one. I'm not. So yeah, man. Shout out to 4100. Let me catch this chat room, yo. Erica Hunt says, if the shoe fits, buy a matching purse. She said, I'm still in that one. Don't be taking my shit, Erica. Don't be taking my shit. Cynthia Armstrong is in the chat room. She says, speak, young man. They just sacrificing him because the people were starting to listen to him. Yeah, well, you see a young brother who can mobilize people, who can just put one post out and have 2,000-3,000 people there with him, 400-500 people there on a whim, and they listening to him. Yeah, that's scary for them. They're gonna say, "Oh crap, what's up with this?" So absolutely, Erica was agreeing. She's on the line, so I got to show her comment. Dion said, "Bro, I love this show." Dion, I appreciate it, man. I appreciate it. You know, we go way, way back, man. Appreciate it. Crystal Ship, shout out to Crystal Ship in that room. Shout out to Crystal Ship. She said Von L. Mays is running the race and running his race. She's quoting Brother Ajamu. What up? See, there he is. There's the man right there. He said, "Yo, what I say? I said, if we say his name, he's gonna appear. He's never failed. What up, my brother, man? I don't know whatever legal things you got to handle, but if you want to call in and just speak to it, you are welcome to do so. You know that you've been on here a million times. Crystal Ship is sharing
on my live right now too, man. Love, bro. You know we ain't finna never play with your name, beloved. Straight up.
Yeah, I think I just like I said. He said, "Ajamu the Great." What's the word, big dog? That's what I'm saying. Like I'm not in the business of trying to knock nobody, but like I said, we all were approaching this thing, especially during that time, from our own angles. And everybody was into it. It was like, man, it was drama. That's what made me say, you know what? I'm cool on this. This is like gangbanging. It took me back to Capitol Drive. It took me back to my old days.
The night at that riot shit, I was at work. I was doing security on the South Side. I had just started the security job too. And I called my boss and I was like, bro, I really want to get out here in these streets with my people and shit. And he like, man, we just started this contract. He can't even do it. So when I say Von is a better man than me, because I wanted to be out there in the trenches with my people. And I probably could have been like, man, fuck this job. Cough, cough. I'm sick. I'll see you niggas tomorrow. I'm finna go out there where God is telling me to be and where my people telling me to be. But Von, the dude who be on them trenches, man, 100%. And I love that shit.
All right. Hey, Vaughn, the number is on the bottom of the screen, man. 262-202-5131. Right across the bottom of the screen. I got Erica Hunt on the line. I had Dion. I don't know what happened. I'm sure he'll call back. Erica, what's going on?
What's going on, Outlaws? How y'all doing tonight?
We are good. We are good. We up top. What's good with you?
Well, I had to get out here because Mr. Butler is a very big fan, and I just wanted to share a little testimony of my own. And every time I see him, I'm going to remind him how he was a big pillar in me going life to where I'm at now.
She breaking up a little bit. What TR should say? Your flip phone acting up? Ain't that what TR Sharp thought? Okay, we got her back.
Flyer was in his book bag, and I was a struggling mama, like I said. So we didn't.
Hold on.
I really want to hear what she's saying too. I swear to God, I really want to hear what she's saying.
Erica, you was breaking up. Can
As
you
he
repeat
basically
that?
greeted them. I don't think y'all can hear me.
No, you breaking up. You breaking up.
Okay, I'm a drop this call because I love to share my flowers when flowers are due. So let me call right back.
All right. I got another caller. A caller, you just got to turn down your device so we can hear you clearly. What's on your mind?
Yo, what it do? It's Vaughn.
What up, my brother? How you doing, man?
Peace, man. Appreciate the tag in. I don't know what the conversation was.
Well, you know, the conversation was just about they put the article up in the paper today about your legal situation, right? And so we didn't really go into no details about what happened. We were just honestly speaking to the fact that everybody here feels your passion, everybody feels your commitment, everybody shouts you out for being what you are in the community in terms of you're called, you're requested, you there, you on the spot. Anything happen, you're there. And I also spoke to the context of 2016 when this whole thing was going down about how frustrated we were because of all of the bullshit that was going down. Police killing people, all kinds of crazy shit. So there's a lot of shit going on. And I feel like they just kind of put it all, it's like they want to throw it at you and blame it on you. But like I said, we all understand the frustration we felt at that time. So a lot of us was on some, I'm glad they ain't looking at my Facebook from then. Because we were saying some wild shit then too. Like, yeah, burn this motherfucker down. Yeah, fuck these motherfuckers. We was all on that. So we was just talking about everybody here wants to support you wholeheartedly. My prayers is that you don't do a day behind no wall. You understand what I'm saying? But that's the story. And they tried to also, I see they try to add some sauce to it by mentioning this concert that you all had in the summer.
Right.
Right. They put that, but that's what the journal, that yellow journalism ass Hearst owned ass paper, that's what they do, right? And so I just wanted to know if you had anything that you could say or that you wanted to say to the people. I want to give you a platform to do so. That's what the conversation was.
Well, I most definitely appreciate it because one, they did that because I wouldn't give them an interview or, make a comment before the court date. And I'm doing that, one, because I have legal representation and I know they wouldn't want me to. But I figured they was going to do that anyway. And when you don't give them a statement or you don't give them a story, then they do what they did, which, it's media. So this is why we have our own platforms, because we know what they're going to do, But to clarify, because they jumbled all that in with no context. The context of the situation, and I want people to understand the magnitude, like, I got charged in 2018. It's been almost 7 years that this case has been on. I have had to deal with not having no fucking money, not being able to get contracts, like living situation fucked up, dealing with this case in the background and still having to go out here every day and do work and show up for everybody else. So with that being in mind, I made it very clear to the government initially, like, I'm not taking no fucking deal. Like, I'm taking y'all to court. I'm taking you to trial. And people may or may not know, the feds have, and they're close to 100%, conviction rate when it comes to these cases. But for me to say I'm going to take it to trial, people have to understand what that means when I'm saying that. So now we come full circle to coming up Wednesday. I got a call about 2 weeks ago. Now, mind you, last October, my trial was supposed to happen. They moved it to February. They moved it to what was supposed to be December 2nd. And when they moved it from February, they dropped 3 or 4 of my charges, including the worst one, which another people need to understand is I was facing 32 years minimum. That was the worst charge. I would have had to spend 30 plus years minimum in federal prison. They dropped that. And so about 2 weeks ago, I got a call from my attorney. And, he pretty much was like, the government came to him with a proposition. Essentially, they want to dismiss the entire indictment, which I had, for those of y'all who have followed, I started off with an initial indictment with 3 charges. They did a superseding indictment, which took it to 5 charges. And then they added 2 more charges, which gave me a grand total of 7. So again, while people saying I'm a snitch and working with the government doing all this other shit, I was getting more and more charges as time went along. So I had to be like the worst snitch ever, But we come to a place where They approach my attorney. They say, listen, we're going to agree to give you guys time served, no probation, no nothing. And what they allow us to do was select a charge that I would plead guilty to, which is this charge that they accepted, which essentially says that I encouraged people to riot because I was out there live streaming and giving commentary. Okay, cool. Because at this point, again, when you go from facing 32 years minimum, when you go from 7 years of just being, man, when you talk about being oppressed and suppressed and having them having you under a microscope and you can't really breathe and can't really do nothing, I feel like it's just time, man, to be moved beyond it. You know what I'm saying? And this is the best case scenario aside from going to trial and beating it. And I'm gonna tell you the only reason why I'm accepting this deal is because if people paid attention, I believe last year, Senator now Judge Lena Taylor and Kim Motley both had federal cases. I believe last year, they went in there and kicked their ass in court. And because the issue is taken from the rest of the state, the Republicans, the people who don't like Milwaukee, they lost those cases because of that. Not because they didn't have the proper representation and they lost their case. The jurors disregarded everything that was said, and they lost those cases. So I don't want to put myself in a position where I'm going to have to roll the dice and possibly lose and have to actually do time, leaving my fate in the hands of those jurors. You know what I'm saying? And so at this point, to agree to no time, no probation time served, for me is a win, from where I started out. Clearly the charges come up threatening and plotting to blow up the police station and involving all these kids, all that shit is bullshit. And to this point, we come here where, like I said, man, I'm just at a point where it's the federal government, because it's me, they don't want to just walk away from it and let it go. They don't want to just dismiss the shit. This is like a mutually beneficial to where the government doesn't lose and I definitely don't lose. And I'm just in a position where this is what we have to go with. So I just appreciate, man, being able to lean on the city of Milwaukee and the residents and the people to be able to have continued doing work all this time with that on my shoulders. And for everybody, man, who's still, showing up, sending letters, who's probably going to be in the court, packing the courtroom out, coming Wednesday. So, you know how it is, man.
Yeah. If we can go all the way back to Marcus Garvey. We can go all the way back to any brother who's tried to say to the community, yo, we could do better. We got to get together. We got to do us. We have to unify. It's always a situation, right? It's always trumped up charges in the kangaroo court. And as much as I dislike Trump, at least he even posthumously pardoned, Marcus Garvey, because just a conspiracy. The conspiracy against a black man who's speaking the truth in this country has always been a real thing. And so, they want to teach us a lesson to him or that. So, I'm glad that you still standing strong. I'm glad you got your head up. And I'm glad you was smart enough to say, hey, man, I'm not messing with them white people from up north, because they looking to send a brother off, right? Like I'm glad that your legal counsel was smart enough to say, you don't want to go with the juror Winarski and Shlokowski from Warsaw and all this, wherever they from. No, that's definitely chess, not checkers. Ajamu, you want to jump in? Go ahead, my brother.
Well, I got two questions. For one, Von, how can we the people support you? And then my second question is, what you just say about Trump? What did you say Trump and Marcus Garvey name in the same sentence? What did you say?
He pardoned Marcus Garvey. He gave Marcus.
Listen, let me address that. I'm glad you brought his name up, because even though that may be true, my case is a direct result of Trump and his last presidency.
Oh,
Trump came up with something called, as you hear him saying, it's good folks on both sides and stand back and stand by. He created an initiative that specifically targets black leadership. And it's my indictment, even though the charges say a specific thing, if you look into the evidence and the records and all the shit they tried to compile against me, that shit was essentially a black identity extremist case. They tried to label me a black identity extremist and say that I orchestrated or had something to do with all that shit that happened. I'm connected to all these different people and all these different things that happened during that time. And that was the catalyst for my case. So when I talk about us being careful about the shit, and politicians do this, whether it's on that side or the other side, where they give us a little something where they might help a couple motherfuckers out, but in the background they doing dirt. That's the dangerous shit that I could have almost just fell victim to. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
And I want people to understand that. Hopefully after, you know, all this is done, and I have no intention of really, like I said, dragging this along too much, but I do want to be able to be transparent as possible about everything that I went through. Because when I tell you, brother, everything that happened in them days of those, you know, of that uprising, all that shit was in my case. Every fire, every break-in, every single thing that happened, I got to see. That shit was all compiled in my case as if literally like a one-man RICO. It's like a single person RICO.
Yikes.
And to address what Ajamal said, I do have court Wednesday, so I'm just asking, man, for people to, you know, who may want to support, you know, folks want to come show up a Wednesday at the federal courthouse, second floor, Judge Pepper's court. Pack it out. I know when I got arrested, they held me for a couple of days and they tried to keep me and not have me released on bond. And that was the most packed that courthouse has ever been. You know, and they, you know, made a decision to let me out 2 different times. When they said let them out the first time, the government said, no, fuck that, let us get another court date and try this again. And they said, fuck y'all, let me out the second court date. But that was the most packed, you know, that court has ever been. And I want to, you know, show them that show of force. And for people who can't come, you know, folks are writing letters of support that can be submitted to the judge or whatever. Because I do have to go in for a plea hearing. Hopefully I can get plea and sentencing on the same day. If not, then I have a different court date for sentencing where people will be actually able to come and speak, you know, as far as character and support. But that's, you know, that's where we at right now, man.
Okay.
And like I said, I'm ready to get this over with and move on to the next thing.
You said Wednesday. What time on Wednesday? I want to be able to, because we want to be able to promote this in the People's News Network as well.
9:30 a.m. at the federal courthouse.
Federal court. Okay. And it ain't no doubt in my mind that you ain't gonna have. if my experience watching you is what I think it is, there will be a lot of people there. But the more the merrier. People damn sure really need to know the time in the day, because I feel like the community is gonna show up for you. I really do. I don't, you know, we get to a point, man, where we get tired of arguing with each other and eventually realize, I mean, the reality is gonna take all of us anyways to fix this thing. And so, but that's something only experience can teach you. Like, you have to learn the art of diplomacy, especially if you a young warrior. When you young and you got that, what Pimp C said, you got that fire in your veins, right? you out there, you every day, you on like soldier mode, but you start to get older and wiser and be like, man, I can fight a different way now. I'm becoming more of a general now, more of a logistical person, understanding how the nuts and bolts of this thing work. So they want to try to take us away before we get to that point. I'm just, you know, thank God that they ain't tried to do something crazy and that you're still here and that you can, you know, I feel like you're going to come out of this standing up with your head up, man. So shout out to you, man. The call dropped. I guess the government said enough of that shit. You niggas are pissing me off. You got Heal the Hood and Mr. Maze. This is bullshit. I wanted to give Kamar, you know, or Rail a chance if they want to say something to the brother. Hopefully he can call back. If he don't, man, if he doesn't or is not able to, we'll be able to be able to go back and watch the show, because I'll definitely share the show. And shout out to y'all who've been watching, because our numbers have been very, very healthy lately. So we'll definitely make sure, go back if you want to hear this brother representing. Fuck the Journal. Fuck them, man. That's why I always be so mad at the mushmouth media in Milwaukee. They just don't never tell it like a TI is, man. They talk about us, they don't talk to us, man. That's why I be like, fuck y'all. People be like, why you gonna be on the radio? You tell them I'll kiss your ass. Like,
again, I commend the brother. You know what I mean? I commend him for the work he do. You know what I mean? And the work he's done. You know
Okay.
what I'm saying? And sometimes you got to take that plea, man. It's better, it's smarter to take that plea. I get it. You know what I
Absolutely.
mean? That don't mean you snitching or nothing because you done took the plea. You know, it's just a better choice. Like, because like you say, you know, you go to trial and get ran the fuck over.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's
Never
funny.
like,
And it's funny too how we are quick
That man
to say somebody's a snitch though.
business endeavor, so it's easy to say what he should do and what he shouldn't do and all of this
Right.
type of shit. But that man get jammed up. Who gonna take care of the movement? Who gonna take care of his kids?
Yeah,
All that.
you still with us, Vaughn?
Yes, sir.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure we brought you back.
Okay.
Go ahead, Ajamu.
No, I was just saying, like, you know, it's easy for people to stand on the outside looking, you know, looking in and say, oh, he shouldn't have copped no plea. He should have did this. He should have did that. But like I said, who gonna take care of this man kids, this man family, this man bills, this man movie, and so on and so forth. So it's a chess game. And most people who say shit can't be done got to stop saying that because you interrupting the motherfuckers doing it. You know what I'm saying? So
Right.
that just is what it is.
And my question is always to the leaders and to the people in this city who are super conservative and, you know, just these old civil rights Negroes and y'all just get down and pray. Hold on now, don't swing. How should we feel about the state of Black Milwaukee? Shouldn't we all be pissed all the way off? Shouldn't we all be upset? I mean, I'm pretty sure if you interview the average Black person, the average person is going to be real and transparent, and you say, are you frustrated with Black Milwaukee? They say, hell yeah, man, I feel like we need to blow this motherfucker up and build a new city. Like, you might hear all kinds of extreme opinions. You know, Bernie Mac say, you know, Black people ain't gonna run up in nowhere with a bomb. Like, nah, I ain't gonna do that. But we feel a certain way, and there always has to be passion in the young people. Like I said, man, what I saw that night when that gas station went up in flames, it gave me so much more respect for these young people in Milwaukee because I was like, they ain't stealing no car. This ain't about no Stoley. This ain't about them gang banging on nobody. This about them backing down the Milwaukee Police Department. And if you a cop, don't lie and say you was out there, Brody, because I saw y'all backing up. I saw y'all hiding behind the cars, right? I was there. I was standing on the corner. So yeah, man, that whole energy of that time, man. I was doing my doctoral studies, and I remember I went in. It was Mike Brown. It was the topic was Mike Brown, and they said, "Well, you see what's going on in Missouri, and what do you guys think?" And I just so happened to be in the same class with 2 Cook County sheriffs, right? And when it got to me, I said, "I hope they burn the whole state of Missouri down." You know, I had to go talk to the damn director. I had to go talk to the dean of the program. My people was like, "Oh my God, he said that." I was like, "They should burn the whole state of Missouri down. This shit is foul. Don't we get tired of this?" So it is what it is, man. What now? If anything, because I know you're gonna work with young people, Vaughn. When you go and talk to young men now, what would you tell them you learned from this experience? Obviously, it's still ongoing. So, but I feel like after all these years, you've learned something. What would you tell a young firebrand who coming up now and wanting to represent the people? How would you tell him to conduct himself?
Yeah, I mean, listen, man. I see a lot of myself in them, and that's why I work with that population. You know, and for our elders and the older ones of us, you know, our age group, right before we get to these young folks, you know, we didn't really have no guide. I can't speak for us, but it was so many people and elders who should have been guiding and, you know, giving us, you know, what we need from that age group that sat back and watched a motherfucker bump their head, you know, that sat back like, look at this crazy nigga. He gonna get in trouble. He gonna, you know what I'm saying? Like, instead of giving that mentorship, that guidance, and probably helping mature me, you know, more so than what I was back then.
Okay.
And that's what I try to provide now for my age to these young folks. You know, they're not necessarily wrong, but they also don't know, you know, all the sides of it, what can happen, how to maneuver, how to be diplomatic, you know, how to, because all war ain't just straight up, you know, going at your enemy. You know what I'm saying? It's a bunch of different tactics that you should be aware of and utilize. And I don't feel like they know that. So just in this whole thing, man, like, I wish I knew back then what I knew now, because I most definitely didn't want anything to do with politics. I most definitely never thought I would be a person that led or ran a program. That was not my intention. I just wanted to do shit for my community and my people. But I didn't know how to do that.
Right.
I just knew how to make noise. You know what I'm saying? And so I made myself a target, you know what I'm saying? And I was okay with that, you know what I'm saying? But not understanding, you know, in this city, man, it's just so fucked up. It's not a lot of people, man, that's solid, that's cut like that. It's not a lot of people that's just out here, you know, that's gonna move the way you move. I expected everybody to be warriors. Everybody's not warriors. Everybody's not scholars. Everybody ain't how we think they should be. Or everybody ain't gonna move how we think they should move. So when we just jump out there, we end up by ourselves. That's kind of your fault, you know, because you ain't consider, you know, all the in between. So and I was typing in the comment when I dropped off. You know, you got these folks that's hijacking our experience. You know what I'm saying? With Trump saying that people is targeting him on behalf of us. Like, they really tried to take me out because they don't want another Von May. They don't want no niggas coming off the street saying, I'm going to do a program in the park, not get no permit, you know what I'm saying? And pretty much say, hey, make me take this shit down. Make me not give these kids food. Make me not, you know, give these kids activities and shit to do. Like, they don't want that shit, you know? And so, like I said, man, just, I appreciate the growth in myself. You know, I had to bump my head a bunch of times when I probably shouldn't have had to, because there should have been somebody there that died most. But now I'm kind of getting those things in the latter part of my life that I didn't get back in, you know. And so that's where I'm at with it.
I just want to say this real quick, man. As a man in the movement myself, like, to hear, man, we finna set up shop. We not asking permission, and we not asking for forgiveness either. Because some people say it's good to ask for forgiveness versus we ain't asking for none of that shit. And I've seen it with my own two eyes. Like, we not busting this down. We got kids being productive out here. Like you said, we got food. We might have some clothes or something that we giving away and shit. Why do we have to stop this? Because we didn't get your permission to do what we supposed to do for our ghettos. If we had 10 more Vons in Milwaukee, this motherfucking city would be phenomenal. Because we need people with that mentality where we're not asking for permission to save our ghettos. We just do.
Yeah.
And didn't need their money at the end of the day. Like, we still made shit happen. When motherfuckers, you got this case, or you too crazy, we ain't gonna give you no dollars. Shit, motherfuckers got on Facebook and still made that shit happen. They not used to that, bro. They're not used to a nigga they can't stop, or they can't, you know what I'm saying? They can't choke you out by not supporting you. Like,
well, I mean,
I represent.
This whole time has been revolutionary, because I'm still remembering the Club County joint when you was in, and I ain't seen nobody else in no city do that. Where you set up shop at the county courthouse, it was bouncy houses. It was having space. It was incredible. I was like, look at this, man. It's crazy what we do when we come together. Go ahead, brother.
Nah, listen, that shit is. It's been so many moments in history that only Milwaukee could provide. And I feel like, you know, we had a lot of Milwaukee always ahead of the curve, but man, people just fearful about being the first to step out and do something. We end up ahead of the curve, but then we end up behind the curve because people don't want to act. Because this kind of like a city where people, you got to do it first. Like, don't nobody want to take the first step to be different. But those times that we have, man, it's been most definitely historic and you know, crazy. Stuff like Club County, you know, stuff like, you know, even the T4TC, coming together, creating our own festival for youth, you know what I'm saying, on a whim. Like, all this kind of stuff, man, is stuff these other places wish they could have. You know what I'm saying? We ahead of the curve even with our leadership, even with all the BS and drama and all that we got amongst, you know, us in this work. We still ahead of the curve for most of the country. So, you know, that's a good place to be. You just got to build off of it.
Yeah, and that's what I say about, you know, when I can proudly represent Milwaukee wherever I go. When people say it's black people in Milwaukee, and I tell them, I said, boy, you better watch your mouth first of all. If you are, and like I said, our culture. We have an epicenter here. Now, Chicago's is dope. Detroit's is dope. But there's some other cities in the Midwest, I ain't gonna say their names, where you can't even get fried chicken. right? Like you can't even, ain't nothing us. It ain't none. Not that represents us all, but I'm just saying, culturally in Milwaukee, you know the spots. You know where you're gonna go and it's us at, right? And we have places that we frequent. In other cities, they don't even have that epicenter. It's no, like you said, we're ahead of the curve. We are one of the first places to have Juneteenth 40, 50 years ago. When other cities was like, what is this? So that's Milwaukee. And while there's black people in Milwaukee, do your research, man. The first fight you ever seen on Jerry Springer was the Commander. We've been ahead of the curve, man. So,
Come on.
yeah, so we should wear this. That's why we always say on the show, 4-on-4 against everybody. You could leave, but it's in you. It's not on you, man. You come on back and you say, man, I come home and get this or that. And man, I'm so happy to see this, that, man. So, man, I just want to give you props, man, and let people know that for now it's more important for us to be a unified front and let none of us, no matter how you personally feel about a man, let us not run to the social media and say that. If you got an issue with that man, talk to him one-on-one before you put it on Facebook, before you put it on Instagram. Hit that man line, say, cuz we need to holler, man. Because everything else is just not even masculine. It's just very feminine energy. And a lot of us now, men, have feminine energy in the community. And so they get catty, man. They don't want to step two and say what they say. They got to say it through somebody else. So that's one thing about you. You've always been who you are. Like, take me for who I am. Like it or love it. This is me, right? What you say, Ajamu? He running his lane, but he ran his lane, right? So, but man, I don't want to take up all your time, man. If you don't got nobody you want to shout out, nobody you want to reiterate, Wednesday, 9:30 a.m., y'all come on down to the federal courthouse. I just want to give you a floor, man. So if you want to say anything else to anybody, thank anybody, whatever you want to say, it's about you at this point. Go ahead, my brother.
Nah, man, like I said, man, I appreciate it. And like you said, like, that growth is the most important piece out of it. Like, if you already know, you know what I'm saying, Ajimo, like, we had to go through our situation, but as men, like, you got to grow. Like, me personally, I'm like I said, man, what I've been through, and putting up and dealing with all the shit I have had to in silence, bro, like, really seriously in silence, I'm real protective of my name and my work. You know what I'm saying? And I know it's a lot of times, man, we got these cliques in the city where people will get with people and then they make you not like who they don't like. You know what I'm saying? So a lot of that shit, man, it got to bounce off. But I appreciate, the growth and the opportunity that we've had to come to circle back. Like, hey, we really don't have an issue with each other. You know what I'm saying? Like, that was some bullshit, and respect each other as men in our lanes. Like, that's how I operate. And like I said, people can say the rumors and all the bullshit they want. I have been the same person since a fucking teenager. Anybody who grew up with me or know me will tell you this is me. Like, I'm not putting on a character. I'm not acting different. Like, I'm the same way with everybody. You know what I'm saying? So, man, like, when it comes down to it, bro, at the end of the day, I stood 10 toes. I held to my principles and my morals. You know what I'm saying? And I didn't switch up from that. And that's what I want, the city, because we don't have people that solid like that. Not too many. And so that's all I can ask, man. And I appreciate y'all for speaking on, me or the situation, even in Sherman Park. Like, it's so many conversations we got to definitely circle back and have that conversation about what happened on 40th and Lloyd and how they tried to take me out with that shit. But that was some real shit happening in our communities that was supposed to be addressed with our missing kids and sex trafficking and all that stuff. And that stuff still is issues, the issues in Sherman Park. A lot of that shit still is the same to this day. A lot of the issues in the city are still the same to this day, and so, we can have the little things here or there. We can have the little things here or there, but we got to get to the work, man. We got to make change and change some lives. So again, man, much love, man. I appreciate y'all sharing the platform.
No doubt. I'm looking forward to you coming back on after you get through all of this and you back standing when you come back and make it. We want to see Act 2, right? See, you just getting started. We want to, when you come back and you're done with them and they can't fade you no more, we'll have this conversation again and really appreciate that moment in time too, man. Peace and thank you for calling in, my brother.
Yes, sir. Thank y'all.
Oh, man.
Love.
Nothing but love. Nothing but love. Man, whoa, what a great night. I knew I was gonna have fun tonight, right? I knew this was gonna be an epic show, right? We got Brother Hill the Hood in the house, so you knew something magical was gonna happen, right?
Can I end it, or can I end my commentary with 3 things? Just 3 quick things.
Absolutely.
Okay. The first thing is, Vaughn, you my nigga. You always gonna be my nigga. And I really wish people knew how petty our beef was. And I'm gonna throw heavy quotes around beef. I really wish people knew us like 10 years ago. They'll understand that growth. Excuse me. The second thing I want to say, I just sent you in your inbox a little while ago this picture of a little girl at Hill the Hood.
I seen it.
Tell that story very quickly. A woman came up to me. We was on 24th and Burleigh in the ghettos doing Hill the Hood. She like, young man, is this your event? Yes, ma'am. Everything good? What you need? She like, I just want to say thank you. She had her niece with her. I think that was her niece. And her niece had a scar. She had got hit by a straight bullet across her face. And the little girl, like 8 years old, like 7 years old. And this elder sister was like, man, I'm so appreciative. Like, we hate going outside. We don't go to no events. We don't be out in the community. Like, we be terrified, but this is amazing. And I will take that story with me until the day that I die. You hear me? Okay. And the last thing I want to leave us with is I'm a purple belt in VSK Jiu-Jitsu under the instruction of Grandmaster Dr. Anthony Aziz Muhammad. And we have a creed that we say at the beginning and at the end of every class, and we live by this thing, we die by this thing, and it is as such. As we walk in peace, and fear will not prevail, for we are not the aggressor, but if we are attacked, we fight with those who fight with us. And if we must fight, we fight to the death. Eye to eye, heart to heart, each one teach one, and always watch your back. So, you know, as we was pertaining to that conversation, you said, don't cross the gun line, boss.
Yeah.
Yeah, he don't even know. Like, I live by that type of energy for sure, man.
Yes, sir. I even listen. I've always stood on that. I'm not bothering you. Don't bother me. I'm not messy. I don't be all up in nobody's business. I mind mine. But you know what? If you come over here with that bullshit, I'm trying to. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to. I want to. You know, I'm not because I'm not. You know, Kev a gangster. No, Kev an old man. I'm just trying to enjoy this back end. I done had a hell of a life. I'm trying to enjoy this back end. And as my partner say, go softly into the night. But don't you dare come over here. For we say your eyes may shine, your teeth may grit, but don't you dare come over here fucking with my shit. So, I just want to say that. Now I want to ask you, when you go, you're up there. What's the next part of the mission? I know you're gonna continue to do Heal the Hood. I know you're gonna stay rooted in the city, but what's your mission? What you got? I say I can't wait to see Vaughn with Act 2. What's next for Brother Heal the Hood?
So right now I'm critically and very hyper focused on intentionally building up early education and Head Start centers. I think it was Frederick Douglass that told us it's better to build children than to rebuild men. And so with that in mind, I really do believe that if we could do some earlier intervention as far as academic progress, as far as mental health awareness, and as far as just addressing behavioral issues that stem from poverty, that stem from bad diet and all of this other shit, we can really build a better generation in a literal sense. So I do a ton of work in the city with early Head Start education centers, and now I'm finna really rev that work up. Yeah.
Okay, that's what's up. Crystal Ship is in the chat room. She said you can support Vaughn L. Mays by sending letters of support at the courthouse and supporting him at the courthouse on Wednesday at 9:30 a.m. She said federal courthouse, that is. Okay. Kamar, oh no, I was finna say you got I'm so stupid. I was gonna say you got an event this weekend. But it's not Wellness Our Way. But what you got coming up this week, man? What you got coming up this week? You muted, cuzzo. You muted.
All right, this week. Tomorrow, what's tomorrow? No, Friday. Okay, first off, all week you got the House of Vitality, right? You got the House of Vitality all week.
Yeah.
From Tuesday to Saturday, 11 to 7.
There you go.
Then you can also catch me tomorrow. I'll be at Trickle B Cafe with the T's. I'll be up there with Miss Courtney, Miss Zakia Courtney. You know who Auntie Tabitha Brown went to hang out with. That's who I'll be with tomorrow.
Okay.
Yeah. I got, I got star people. You know what I'm saying? I'm blessed, family. I'm blessed too. You know what I mean? it ain't what you know, it's who you know sometime,
Right.
right?
Right.
But anyway, Thursday. Wait, is this the third Thursday?
I know it's a Thursday. I don't know
I
which
think
one
it's
it
the
is.
third Thursday, yeah. So the third Thursday, also at the Sherman Phoenix, I'll be with the Chamber of Commerce. They doing a pitch contest. You want to win $10,000? Bring your ass down there and come
There you go.
pitch your business. You know what I mean? Hey, look, you see that check up there? I won third place that first 2 years ago.
Come
That
on.
money really hit your account, fam.
All
It
Come
right.
on.
really hits your
Come
account. It
on.
ain't just a big
Back
ass
it.
check.
Oh,
You know what I'm talking about? It's real.
Yeah.
But then Saturday, no, wait a minute. Then Friday, I'll be closing the store early so I can go do the grand opening with Twisted Plants in West Allis. So I'll be there with them, you know what I mean, promoting vitality. We got, you get your vitality at Twisted Plants too, y'all. You ain't got to just come to House of Vitality, but you go to Twisted Plants. What up, Kev?
Well, I wanted to say this because I neglected to say this. We want to shout out Anomaly Catering.
Yes.
Because anomalous camo, the husband and the wife have been on the show. We had a great time with them one night, and they were talking about their catering services and doing date night and stuff like that. And I see that their store had been, or their building had been burglarized and then hit by a car. And so people are supporting them in the community, and that's in the People's News Network as well. So if you want to support that brother and that sister for their business, I always shout out anybody who's come and support our platform. It's been a while, but they came on. We did it. We had a great time. So shout out to them. So I want to throw that in. I didn't mean to cut you off at all. Because I know you're in motion. Rail, you talking about doing what's the latest?
Hold on, I got one more. It's a busy week.
Go ahead.
I got one more. I'll be at the Friday Market Saturday. You catch me at the Friday Market. Come get everything you need. I have everything with me down there too. While I'm down there, again, the House of Vitality will be open at the Sherman Phoenix.
There you go. Double bubble, right?
Yeah.
Is that it?
I think that's it. I'll let you know something. Remember something else. All right.
Rail, what's the latest book? You said you just published another one. What's the latest?
I published a children's book for ages 5 to 10. Mia and Max explore the garden of emotions. Each flower represents a different emotion that teach them how to understand it and how to work through it. So, I published that it's been about a month now. Actually, my little brother illustrated it. I didn't know he was that dope, but he illustrated it. So now I'm working on, I just bought a little mic that I could plug into my phone because I'm gonna probably do a reading of it and narrate it and probably either put it on YouTube or TikTok. And then now that I got the mic, I could finally do an audio version of my 12 Steps to Becoming Your Own Dope, my first book. So that's what I'll be doing this week. And then
how do they get the book though? How if they want it? They said that sounds intriguing.
It's on if they my Facebook friend, I got the link tree up there with all my books, my gratitude journal, but otherwise they can just go on Amazon and there's 12 Steps to Becoming Your Own Dope, which is my book on how I learned emotional intelligence by getting through a divorce and overcoming depression and anxiety and losing over 120 pounds. And then they can get Adventures of Mia and Max Exploring the Garden of Emotions on Amazon as well.
Okay, that's what's up. Make sure you put it in the People's News Network. I got one last caller. I think this is Erica Hunt calling back. I think. Is this Erica?
Yes, sir. I had to wait my turn.
Let me hear what she had to say.
Yeah, I have something to say. Y'all know I got something to say. I haven't been around in a while because I've been busy with the election, but like y'all said, there's a lane for everybody. You just got to stick to the one that works best for you. I want to shout out Von Mays because I do respect the work that he does in the community, but I want to give my flowers to Mr. Butler. Mr. Butler had through his Heal the Hood, and I was invited to it, and at that time, I was a single, struggling mama. And honestly, I only attended the Heal the Hood because we didn't have nothing to eat that day. And so I went there for a free event and a free plate for me and my son. At that event, I was shell shocked from the trauma of Milwaukee, just being a young, abused mama in the street. When I went there, the energy that was there was so overwhelming. It helped break that shell shock for me. I'll never forget it. one of the first few events that me and my son attended, and I will share this with anybody and everyone. The presence of God was there.
Yes,
And I had
God.
already knew who God was, but the presence of God was there. The energy was so welcoming and it was so safe, and it just was like, heal the hood, heal the hood. Do y'all know what really go on in the hood? Like, y'all don't know. And when he confessed and said he know exactly what's going on, I felt that as a young mama. And so that helped pivot my life into a whole nother direction. Not too long after that, I was introduced to the union and got involved with the union. But I love to give him his props because at that time he was actually younger than me. And I'm like, young folks is out for real?
Hey, what year was that? What year was that?
It was near the Metcalf location. So it had to be, I want to say it was next to that park. My son's 17, but he was like 4. He was in kindergarten. So this was a long time ago.
Okay.
This was a long time ago. And it really, really connected for me. And then after that, I started showing up to like the Homer Blow birthday party, to the Vibe Maze pop-up celebrations in the park. Like that became a tradition for us. The Father Day celebration. We didn't have no daddy around, but shit, we showed up there and I admired all of the strong Black men in our community. And I knew by looking at y'all that there could be better for us. So I just want to make sure I give y'all props and y'all flowers to let y'all know that even if you don't know it, somebody see y'all and y'all making them small changes in their life. And when y'all get through teaching these young people how to work in the community, go ahead, come on, connect with me so we can get them these jobs, because all of my union work sites are understaffed. You heal them and teach them some work skills, get them in these unions, and I'm going to teach them how to strategize and negotiate better wages for them and their family.
Teamwork makes the dream work, right?
How that sound?
Right?
I'm finna inbox you right now, Eric. We gonna set something up and chop it up. I'm finna inbox you right now.
Let's definitely communicate, because I can't go advertising per contract, right? Per language of contract. I can't be like, I'm going to pull you in and get you this job. But once they earn them jobs, I'm going to help teach them how to keep them jobs.
That's what's up. That's what's up. Erica, we always appreciate you all. You've been supporting us for a while. So, you an outlaw. So we always give it up, and we always glad when you can call in and chop it up with us. So we appreciate the call.
Yep. I just had to, you got a real one on your show today. So I definitely got to applaud him.
There you go. That's what's up.
All right. Hey, who in my kitchen? Go to bed. Okay, I gotta go. Bye.
All right. She what's somebody ass. Listen, man. This is what it's about. This is the reason why we do Outlaw Radio. Like I said, what y'all talking about, Black people stuff, right? And so the conversations that we have on here are always real. I always have to quote Kamara about walking that walk and talking that talk. And normally you don't see anybody on my platform who ain't really about what they talking about. And I can't think of a time when it was somebody. We've had some controversial shows in the past that I probably took down. Kamara, when it was Bedlam, when we was live in the studio a couple times, I had to say, I ain't gonna even put that up. That was wild. But more often than not, you're gonna see people on this show, or people gonna call into the show who really are about what they say they are about. I think it just there has to be some growth, and there has to be some maturation. Like my brother Vaughn alluded to, we had this, it wasn't even worth this weight in paper. It was, it was second or third kind of shit. And we just, a long time ago, and a lot of people don't even know this, he and I just via messenger, just boom, 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 man, I ain't tripping on you. I ain't tripping on you. I ain't got nothing against you either. It was just like, all right, well, I did. And that was it. It was like, that's what it was. But it just kind of flourished into as we both grew. Same thing with my brother Ajamu. I remember the first time Ajamu was supposed to come on. Remember that, Kamar? And Ajamu didn't come, and I was pissed. And Kamar,
I remember that. I remember that shit.
I was pissed. And that's back then. And look, back then I was really sensitive about my shit, right? Like, so if you would say you was coming on or any of that, man, I used to take it so seriously. And Kamar used to be like, bro, you gotta chill. I was like, fuck that. Fuck everybody. It's crazy, man. But that growth, man, now I'm like, it's whatever now. I just be like, we ain't gonna make something that's positive turn into something negative, man. And as we grow and get old, I think what other greater example can we give by showing other brothers and other people, period, as Black men, we can get along. We can work with each other. We do grow up to be, you know, more knowledgeable and learn from yesterday and say, nah, now we can be a machine. Now it ain't everybody working against everybody. So the growth is very much appreciated. I always tell people, in a world where you could be anything, just try to be a person who gives a fuck, right? So it ain't enough for you to talk about it, right? Because if you're always talking about it, then that means you ain't doing nothing about it, which ultimately leaves you in the position of your criticism outweighing your contribution to the community. And we know when you do that, you're ultimately a coon. I see y'all Wednesday, man, 7:30 p.m. Central Standard Time. My brother, Heal the Hood, come back whenever you want to. You know you're welcome. My
Love
mic
you,
is your
brother.
mic, man. Shout out to Vaughn May. Shout out to everybody who supported. Shout out to Rel
Peace.
and the Witch Doctor, man. Peace and love. I see y'all Wednesday.
Hey, Lamar, what you over there doing? Counting up some cheese and stuff, man? Oh, you done exit up.